Good afternoon. Welcome to our County Commission debate. We really appreciate you being here and tuning in. My name is Mike Horner. I'm president of the Kissimmee Osceola County Chamber of Commerce, and I'll be your moderator today. I want to start off by thanking our sponsors that made this event possible, our good friends at KUA, Kissimmee Utility Authority. We want to thank Walt Disney World for sponsoring. Thank you very much, Walt Disney World. Manhattan Construction, thank you very much, Manhattan Construction. We really appreciate your support. And of course, we want to thank Gaylord Palms Hotel and Convention Center Resort and Convention Center for being here and hosting us, and Access Osceola for filming us. We really appreciate all their support. Well, we're going to jump right into it with a 1-minute opening statement from each of our candidates, and we are going to begin with Michael Harford. Mr. Harford, you have a minute.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Michael Harford. I'm so glad to be here and want to thank Gaylord for their hospitality today. 4 years ago, when I was elected, the county started on a path of certain economic throughout the country. We've looked at what happened with that, and we've analyzed with the county what issues we need to look at. Part of those have been how we move forward. To do that, what the county has done has put in place to help the tourism area, to look at redevelopment and how we're going to do the redevelopment, and also construction on a significant number of infrastructure that was needed, roads in this county. I have enjoyed immensely the opportunity to serve Osceola County, and will look forward to serving again, if you're willing, November 6th. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harford. And next, a 1-minute opening statement from Paul Owen.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's good to be here. I am Paul Owen, and I'm your Republican candidate for the County Commission seat District 1. I've lived here and worked here in Osceola County for about 30 years. In fact, all of it's been here in District 1. I remember starting my business when I came to Osceola County, and it was right here on 192 in the tourism quarter. But you know, as I look at what's happened over the last 4 years, it just really breaks my heart to see what's going on. Here in Osceola County, we have over 3,000 homeless kids now. That's double since '04. Our employment rate is the highest in the state. Burdensome regulations have stifled small business growth and expansion. Our ad valorem tax rate is 35% higher than surrounding counties. And you know, I had the privilege of serving on the County Commission Board from 2000 to 2008, and I had the opportunity to meet some of the challenges we faced. I worked with the public and private sector and led the charge to build a new facility for Boys and Girls Club, Council on Aging, Children's Advocacy Center, the home campus for homeless single-parent moms. Plus, doing all of that, I helped create over 4,000 new jobs in Osceola County.
And Mr. Owen, I feel bad. I have to cut you off, but I really appreciate your 1-minute opening statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we're going to jump into the questions. We have got a crack panel. We've got Brian McBride, the editor of the Osceola News-Gazette. Let's hear it from Mr. McBride. And the publisher of El Osceola Star, Bill Hanson. Mr. McBride, the first question will come from you.
Thank you. Candidates, as you are campaigning, what are the biggest concerns you're hearing from residents, and how, as part of the commission, would you address them?
Paul, you're up first.
Yes. Well, one of the biggest concerns that I see when I'm traveling and walking throughout the county is small businesses have such burdensome regulations on them that they have not been able to expand their business here locally. I'll give you a real quick, for instance, there's a manufacturer here in Osceola County that has a golf cart repair and maintenance facility. He wanted to add just sales to that. When he went to the county, he was told that he had to pay $3,300 just to get a conditional use agreement, and then it was going to cost him about $75,000 to $80,000 just to add sales to his repair facility. I don't know about you, but that don't make sense. Sales to me is a lot cleaner business than repair and maintenance on golf carts. But that's one of the things that I hear more than anything else, and that's one of the things that I will do when I go into office is I'm going to attack those burdensome regulations that have stifled our business growth in Osceola County for the last 4 years.
Michael, thank you. Mr. Harford, your response.
Thank you. As I'm campaigning, what I hear also is transportation issues. How do I get from point A to point B? When I came into office, the county had $750 million in past road projects that needed to be built. We had to go out and look at the funding that we had to try to move those, and we did move those. Not only that, we targeted them to the areas that we felt were the strongest, including the Narcoossee area, Old Lake Wilson Road, Poinciana Boulevard, and John Young Parkway at the flyover. Transportation is just one of our issues. Certainly the diversification of our economy is another one. While I fully appreciate the tourism industry and what it provides, some of the jobs that those provide are not sustainable for our citizens. So trying to attract new jobs, which is what we've done, and including attracting Colt, who came from the Northeast to provide higher paying jobs. So jobs and transportation are very critical to me. I realize that
Thank you very much, Mr. Harford. Next up,
Can I respond to that?
No, we're gonna go in 1 minute from each response to each question. And Mr. Hanson, you have the next question.
Yes. Do you agree with the sports fields project at the Judge Land presented by USSSA, or what will you change?
Mr. Harford, you're up first.
the Judge Farms.
Right.
The Judge Farms, in conjunction with Osceola Heritage Park, will provide a very strong location for amateur sports and as it increases in Osceola County. As far as our tourism goes, we were looking at amateur sports to increase that. Obviously, as you go through the details of the project, you have to make sure you can analyze that. But and looking at it as a general of what we have presented to us at this particular point, yes, I would support parts of that, yes.
Mr. Owen.
Well, I would look at that particular project in maybe a different light. I think I would support it if I had all the information, but at the same time, I want the caveat to go ahead and establish a sports center on the west side. I know that you all know about the tax base that District 1 supports the county with. Over 40 to 50% of the taxes from District 1 go into the county, which help keep the taxes for the rest of the residents lower. But at the same time, there needs to be some sports complex over on the west side. It just makes sense. All the hotels are over here. There's accommodations over here. There are no accommodations right now on the Judge property. So unless something was tied to that provides the accommodations and allows heads and beds to come to Osceola County, then I would look at that very, very closely. But I still believe we need that sports complex on the west side.
Next up, our question will be from Mr. McBride.
Do you believe that the county commission seats should be nonpartisan, and why?
Mr. Owen.
Well, I do believe that we need to allow the voters to decide whether they want nonpartisan elections or not. And of course, my opponent stated when that came up for a vote on the county commission, he voted not to allow the citizens to take part in that. In fact, he stated the Democratic Party is steadily growing in dominance in Osceola County, and I will do nothing to stand or stop it. He even went against that vote, even though he knew it might cost the taxpayers, you and I, $350,000 to hold a special election. I don't believe that's the spending of dollars and investing dollars in the right way. I think it ought to go on the ballot, and I think the residents ought to decide where they're going to want nonpartisan elections on a local level, okay?
Next up, Mr. Harford, your response.
My short answer is no. I did not support nonpartisanship. The primaries are designed for the parties to pick their nominee. What we're doing is fundamentally changing the way or when a county commissioner is elected. And if a county commissioner is successful in getting 50% of vote, then there would be no election for a county commissioner on the November ballot. In the sense of looking to try to attract more voters, we are moving the primary to a point where less voters actually turn out. And I would not support that and did not support that.
Our next question will come from Mr. Hanson.
Yes. What do you think about a county-wide unified economic development agency, or do you think that the county should have and control its own?
Mr. Harford.
Thank you. The change in the economic development department is certainly welcome. When I came on the board, one of the questions I had was how close we were working with the two cities and the school board to do that. And what I found was that we weren't working well enough. So looking at the county and how we're trying to make a consolidation of that, Osceola County, and I've said this for many times, that we're a big county in land-wise, but we have a small county in the number of cities and governmentals that we have in the county, and we should work better together to look at our economic development. One of the things that I've done since I've been on the board is looking at the economic development and how the education system fits into it. And we've used the education system to better describe what we have, and also our partnerships with Valencia to provide work-related training to the companies that we attract.
Thank you very much. Mr. Owen, your response.
Well, first of all, I think that the county commissioners have really relied too much on the Economic Development Department. When industry is wanting to locate in a certain place, they want to talk to the top dog. They want to talk to the person who knows business and the person that can address their concerns. And that's why when I take the seat on the Board of County Commissioners within the first 30 days, I'm going to compile a list of 20 companies that are going to relocate and expand their business. I'm going to give that to the county manager, and we're going to contact those people individually and sell them on the idea of coming to Osceola County. Osceola County is the greatest county in the state of Florida. They've got more benefits here to offer than any other county in Florida. It doesn't make sense that we haven't gone out and make this the #1 effort for the last 4 years, because that's what's hurting our county. There has been no job creation, and there's been no effort to go out and solicit these companies to come in here. And at the same time, we need to protect and support our tourism industry, because right now they're the ones that's producing the revenue for the county.
And Mr. McBride, the next question is from you.
Yes, with Kissimmee implementing red light running cameras, would you support them countywide?
Mr. Could you repeat the question? I couldn't quite make that up. Could you repeat that one more
Sure.
time?
With the city of Kissimmee implementing red light running cameras, would you support them countywide?
So the question is red light cameras, much like we have in Kissimmee, being used countywide. Mr. Owen, you're up first.
Yes, I would support red light cameras, and I don't think they're an intrusion into our privacy. What they do is they have a tendency to protect the citizens and protect the residents. Statistics will show you that where there are red light cameras, the tendency for accidents in those intersections actually goes down by about 40%. So yes, I would support red light cameras in the county.
Mr. Harford.
Thank you. I would support red light cameras. It does show that they do slow people down. There is some difficulties in assigning the ticket, because it goes to the individual that registered the car, so that could present some confusion if someone uses them. But being that we are a tourism area, that we do see a lot of citizens from other countries, being able to explain when those cameras are and what they are to help them navigate through our intersections would be outstanding. The other thing that the county has done is over the last few years, we have sought and got money from FDOT to upgrade our traffic system, and are in the process of creating an automated traffic management system to be able to regulate that traffic and be able to adjust those lights as traffic goes through.
Our next question is going to be from Mr. Hanson, but I'm going to ask both of our friends on the media panel. These microphones have a great pickup. Be about 6 inches off the microphone, and then it won't have quite so much bass. Mr. Hanson, you are up for a question.
Okay, about 3 years ago, the county established a supplier diversity program that was originally set with a 25% minority women business enterprises participation. That percentage has never been reached. Are you a supporter of this program, and how will you increase participation?
Our answer will come from Mr. Harford.
Can we repeat the question?
Yeah, the question, sure. Let me see if I can help Mr. Hanson out. The question is, we have a diversity supply office with a target of 25%, and that target has never been reached. Are you supportive of the program, and how would you reach the target? Is that fair, Mr. Hanson?
Yes.
Mr. Harford, you are up first.
Yes, thank you. I do agree with the goals of trying to get minority participation. We are a very diverse community, and we have a lot of small businesses that have moved in here from other areas, the Caribbean, Dominican Republic, Venezuela. There's many restaurants and other things that are out there, some of our builders and others that are out there. Looking at that, one of the things we did to encourage that was our construction projects were done at CM at risk. And we did that so that the local contractors could have a better opportunity to participate, and it would allow some of the minority contractors, some of the smaller contractors to participate. Thank you.
Mr. Owen.
Yeah, I do support the program, and I'm surprised to hear that we haven't met that 25% goal, because the largest group of small businesses is among the Hispanic community. They're really good at coming in and starting a business on their own and working 24 hours a day if they have to and growing their business. So I think there should be more minority participation there, and I would support that.
Our next question will come from Mr. McBride.
Essentially, candidates, why are you a better choice over your opponent to voters?
I'm gonna go. Brian, could you go ahead and try that one more time? Because I think the audience hears pretty well. We're behind the speakers, so it makes it a little tricky. Can you?
Sure. Candidates, why are you a better choice than your opponent to voters?
Okay, so the question is, why are you a better choice than your opponent? Mr. Owen, you were up first.
Well, I think if you look at the background and the experience of both of us, okay? Mike's a good guy. I've known him for a long time. We're not enemies. We're just opponents in this race, okay? If you look at our background and our experience and what's been accomplished on the board before, you really have a stark difference here. For instance, Mike voted the first year he was in office to raise the taxes 21% on you and I, okay? I would never do that. My pledge to you is that I would never raise taxes or fees during this 4-year term. And so I think if you look at the background, what was accomplished, because we both have a record, okay? You don't have to listen to what we have to say. You just go back and pull the record. And if you pull the record of what's been accomplished during our terms, there's no doubt in my mind, as far as a community player and a pro-supportive business person, I think you would have to agree that I'm the best qualified for this position. In fact, Business Force and the Osceola Realtors Association just endorsed me as being the best candidate for this position.
Thank you very much. Mr. Harford, your response.
Thank you. Well, first off, this is one time you get another championship. Paul and I have battled each other in here, so now we're doing the best for 2 out of 3. Paul and I do recognize each other. We're both, I like Paul. I've known him and his brother for a number of years. When I came on the board, one of the reasons I came on the board was looking at transparency and looking at the government and how it was functioning. And what we have done to try to improve that is we've created a report that allows the citizen to go out, and there's actually a dashboard, a community dashboard that you can go on now to look at projects. Those things were non-existent. We also, I'm one of the only commissioner that has my calendar online for the citizens to look. You go to the website and you go and look and see what I'm doing. I felt that was important in the transparency to know who I was meeting with and what we were doing. Jobs is certainly important, and what we did to create jobs locally was our local stimulus, which was our road building projects. And we did those, and those helped us keep our community running. Thank you.
And our next question will come from Mr. Hanson.
Yes, with very little or no impact fees, where should the county get the funds for the infrastructure?
Mr. Harford.
Well, obviously we've had no fun with impact fees, and those have, at this particular point, dropped off to near nothing. We are looking at different programs to be able to do that as far as the county goes, and we're looking at being able to move forward with this. I apologize, my brain has just gone bad today. But impact fees have never. Sure, has never actually paid for themselves. So I apologize. We need another system.
Next up, Mr. Owen, how would you pay for infrastructure?
Well, evidently Mike likes impact fees because he voted against putting a moratorium on impact fees here in the county for a while during these difficult times. But putting that moratorium on impact fees has proved to be a winner, because Osceola County during this time has had $165 million in new construction. And I know one of the men that I talked to that's building a hotel here said they would have never built in Osceola County if they had to pay those high impact fees. Plus, I don't think impact fees should be in place at all, because if you ask any developer what he has to do to develop his property, he has to put in curb cuts, he has to run all the utilities to him, he has to make all the improvements in that development before he can go forward, and all the improvements outside the development that impact the people in Osceola County. So it doesn't make sense for those impact fees to be in place, because all it does is it drives up the cost to the consumer. For instance, a home in Osceola County now, if you had to pay the impact fee, would cost you $20,000 more than it would in Orlando. So if you were going to build, where would you go?
Mr. Owen, I'm going to have
Just
to
across
move on
the
to our
line?
next question.
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. Good facts. Okay, Mr. Hanson, you need some clarification?
Yes, to Mr. Owen.
Yes.
Where should the county get the funds for the infrastructure?
So, Mr. Owen, you've got 30 seconds to say where you would get the funds to pay for infrastructure in the county.
Well, the impact funds to pay for that infrastructure could come from the developer, because he's paying most of the infrastructure improvements now that is impacted by his development, impacting that community. They could come from a variety of funds that are already in place. For instance, the gasoline tax could be used for improving roads and making some improvements that needed to be done. It's just a matter of balancing the budget with the county and making sure that the county lives within its means and cuts out a lot of the frivolous stuff that does not need to be in the budget.
And in an abundance of fairness, Mr. Hartford, would you like to take 30 seconds to talk about how you would fund infrastructure?
Certainly. The gas tax is a declining revenue. That was one thing that was taken off the table, because as cars continue to get fuel efficient, those gas taxes will continue to decline. We looked at trying to look at property and seeing how, as it improved, creating an increase in their value, and then separating that particular funding out to use for infrastructure improvements, which would be different than we had for anything in the past.
All right, and panelists, this will be your last question each. You're each going to have one more question, and we're going to start with Mr. McBride.
The county has been working on luring in new business, but what would you do to help the local struggling businesses?
How would you help locally struggling businesses? How would you help local business? Mr. Owen, you're up first.
Okay. Well, I've been a businessman all my life. The only time I haven't been self-employed and owning a business was when I was in the Navy and the National Guard and in college. Those were the only times. But I started a business when I was in college at the age of 19. And I developed that business into the largest business of its kind in the world in 10 years. We had 3,000 distributors and salespeople and employees all over the world. And the way we did that is because there wasn't as many regulations in place today, or then, as there are today. The first thing I would do is I would go to the Land Development Code, revise that Land Development Code, and take away those conditional uses that are there that are stifling the business development in this community. That's the biggest problem that I hear. It's not a lack of finances. The people who start the business can get their financing. The problem is they have to go through a process which takes 6 months to a year to get approved, and then after they get approved, if they want to add something to that, they have to go back and do this all over again. So there needs to be a Land Development Code revision by business people and not by staff.
And next up, Mr. Hartford.
Well, I'm glad to hear that Commissioner Owens is interested in conditional uses, because the Land Development Code is under review, and it is being removed, not completely, but certainly so that more businesses have designated uses that they can use without coming to a conditional use. I've never liked conditional uses because I felt you can conditional use anything into existence, whether it actually fit in the neighborhood was different. So looking at the Land Development Code as we make the changes so that there are more businesses that are available to put in their certain categories, then it opens up for less of them to do that, the less time. We've also instituted permitting. The hotel that Commissioner Owen talked about was done on a completely electronic basis, and it's not quite accurate. When I voted against the impact fees, they were residential. I voted for commercial to be waived, and that building was started.
And Mr. Hanson for our final question of the debate.
Yes. if you're elected, what will be your first task or project?
Mr. Harford.
If I get the opportunity to serve Osceola County again, the biggest project I think is on my plate is completely finishing the CRA and the redevelopment in the West 192 area. It is certainly the driver of our tax base. It drives some of our employment, a considerable amount. So being able to look at the tourism corridor, identify what we have and what we want to be in the next 30 or 40 years is paramount to creating a destination of Osceola County. Thank you.
Mr. Owen.
Well, I agree with Mike there. The CRA needs to be in place here on West 192. Those improvements need to be made so we can meet the needs of our guests in an appropriate way when they come into the county. However, it doesn't matter what you do. If you make it hard for businesses to expand and if you make it hard for businesses to open, they will not come. The first thing I would do is what I said before. I will appoint a task force of business people, not staff. There's a difference there. When staff has control, they perpetuate their own positions, okay? Business people to review and submit changes to the Land Development Code that will remove the burdensome regulations that are stifling our business community now. And as I said before, I'll submit a list of 20 companies that are known to be going to relocate or expand and go to them on a one-to-one basis and encourage them to come to Osceola County. And the other thing is I will not do is I will not support any tax increases or fees, period, during my term. This economic climate that we're in right now cannot take that.
Well, let's hear it for our panelists for their great and thoughtful questions. We appreciate their questions. And now, we are going to move into closing remarks, and we will begin with Mr. Owen. Your closing remarks, you have 1 minute.
Well, thanks to all of you for taking your time out to come and listen to this debate today. And of course, thanks to all those sponsors who have made this a great hour for us. I think the question on the table is simply this. Who has the experience and the proven track record to lead us out of the malaise of high unemployment, burdensome regulations, and the harsh business climate that we've experienced in the last 4 years? You've heard some of the things that I'm going to do within the first 30 days of being on the seat. I've been endorsed by the Business Force and the Realtors Association as being the best qualified candidate to do what I just said. I know the problem, I have a plan, I've been there before, and I've worked the plan. I will not support any tax increases, let me reiterate that, or fees. They are too burdensome and too cumbersome at this particular time in our economy. I want you to look at my qualifications, look at my business experience, and if your priority is aligned with my priorities, then I would like for us to join hands and let's work together to build a better community for our children and grandchildren. And I would appreciate your financial support and vote on November the 6th. Thank you.
And our closing statement from Michael Harford.
Thank you. Osceola continues to face challenges. It's true that both of us now have a record, myself as a county commissioner and Commissioner Owen. And you can look back at them and make your own determinations. My personal belief is we've had many, Commissioner Owen has been here, he's had his time, and some of the reasons that we are here are some of the decisions that were made during his term. So as we move forward, we look at the things that have affected us, the CRA, the road building projects, the economic development, and we have made, myself and the balance of the commission, have made significant changes in those to see our future. I've asked many, many times, where do we want to be when we celebrate a 75-year anniversary of Walt Disney World being here? We know they're going to be here. We need to strive to understand what they're trying to do, gather from what as them as a destination, and relay that to how we look on 192. Thank you.
I want to thank both of our candidates. They did an outstanding job and answered the questions very well, and I really appreciate their courage in both stepping up to run for public office. It's appreciated. Very quickly, I want to once again thank our sponsors, our friends at KUA, Walt Disney World, Manhattan Construction, Gaylord Palms Resort and Convention Center, and Access Osceola. Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to vote.